The engine hummed a sleepy tune as Aaron drove, the last rays of sunlight painting the sky in soft oranges and purples. It had been one of those days at work where the clock seemed to move backward, each hour stretching into an eternity of paperwork and endless meetings. His shoulders felt like solid blocks of concrete, and a dull ache throbbed behind his eyes. All he wanted was to kick off his shoes, throw on some comfy clothes, and melt into his favorite armchair with a good book. Maybe even order a pizza. Cooking felt like too much effort right now. He yawned, stretching his arms a little, careful to keep one hand on the steering wheel. The radio played a mellow song, just loud enough to fill the quiet space in the car without being annoying. He pictured his cozy apartment, the soft lamplight, and the quiet peace that awaited him. The thought made him smile. Almost home, he thought, just a few more turns, and he could finally relax and forget about the day's stresses. The road ahead looked clear, promising a smooth, quick journey to his much-needed evening of rest. Aaron's peaceful thoughts of home and relaxation were suddenly shattered. A low, rhythmic thumping started from the back of his car. Thump, 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 thump. He frowned, wondering if he'd run over something. The sound grew louder, more insistent, and the steering wheel felt a little wobbly in his hands. His stomach dropped as a familiar, unwelcome realization dawned on him. Not now, he pleaded silently. He slowed down, listening intently. The thump, thump, thump was unmistakable. It was the dreaded sound of a flat tire. A sigh escaped his lips, heavy with disappointment. His plans for an easy evening vanished like smoke. He gripped the steering wheel tighter, carefully guiding his car towards the shoulder of the road. There wasn't much space, just a narrow strip of gravel next to a field, but it would have to do. With a final, sad thump, he brought the car to a halt. The engine quieted, leaving only the soft chirping of crickets in the evening air. He turned off the ignition, plunging the car into silence. He leaned back in his seat for a moment, letting out a frustrated groan. This was the last thing he needed after such a long day. He really wasn't looking forward to dealing with this. With a heavy sigh, Aaron pushed open his car door and stepped out onto the gravel shoulder. The air was cooler now that the sun was almost gone, and a faint chill made him shiver. He walked to the back of the car, his eyes already dreading what he knew he would see. And there it was, the back passenger tire, slumped and deflated, looking utterly sad. It was completely flat, a pancake of rubber against the asphalt. He kicked at it gently with the toe of his shoe, as if that might magically reinflate it. Of course it didn't. Aaron knew how to start changing a tire. He'd watched videos, read the car manual once, but he always got stuck somewhere in the middle. The lug nuts were always too tight, or the jack wouldn't cooperate, or he couldn't get the spare out from under the trunk floor. It usually ended with him calling roadside assistance, feeling a bit foolish. A wave of annoyance washed over him. He was tired, hungry, and now faced with a task he was terrible at, in the fading light on the side of a quiet road. He rubbed his temples, feeling the headache return with a vengeance. This was just perfect. His phone was in his pocket, but he really didn't want to call for help and wait another hour or two. He just wanted to be home. Just as Aaron was about to pull out his phone and grudgingly dial for help, a pair of headlights appeared in his rearview mirror. A car slowed down and pulled up a little way behind him, its hazard lights blinking. Aaron watched, a bit wary, as the driver's door opened. A man stepped out, tall and with a friendly smile that seemed to light up the dimming evening. "Everything all right over here?" the man called out, his voice calm and kind. He had short, dark hair and was wearing a simple t-shirt. He didn't look threatening at all, which made Aaron feel a little less on edge. "Flat tire," Aaron replied, gesturing to the sad-looking rubber pancake. Just trying to figure out the best way to tackle it. He felt a blush creep up his neck, embarrassed by his helplessness. The man walked closer, his smile still warm. "Ah, the classic flat. Been there more times than I can count. My name's Lucas, by the way. Need an extra hand, or maybe just a spare set of tools." He paused, looking genuinely ready to help. "I'm pretty good with these things, if you don't mind a bit of company." Aaron hesitated for only a second. Lucas seemed nice, and a second pair of hands, especially skilled ones, would be a huge relief. "Aaron," he introduced himself, feeling a flicker of hope. "And yes, please. Any help would be amazing." Aaron's first instinct was always a bit of shyness when meeting new people, especially when he was feeling flustered. He wasn't usually the type to chat easily with strangers. But Lucas's smile was so open and his offer so genuine that Aaron found his guard lowering almost instantly. The thought of not having to wrestle with the jack and the stubborn lug nuts by himself was a wave of pure relief. It was like a little ray of sunshine breaking through his gloomy evening. "Thanks, Lucas. I really appreciate it," Aaron said, his voice a little softer than he intended. He felt a small, grateful smile touch his own lips. "I'm not exactly a pro at this. My tools are in the trunk, if you want to take a look." He gestured towards the back of his car, feeling a bit sheepish about his lack of tire-changing skills. Lucas just nodded, his friendly expression unwavering. "No problem at all, Aaron. Happy to help. Happens to the best of us." He walked towards his own car to grab something from his trunk, then came back, pulling out a small toolbox. Sometimes having the right tools makes all the difference, but mostly it's just knowing the tricks. Aaron watched him, a sense of ease starting to settle over him, replacing the earlier frustration. Maybe this evening wouldn't be a complete disaster after all. Lucas wasted no time. He quickly found Aaron's jack and spare tire, working with a confident ease that Aaron admired. He grunted a little as he loosened the lug nuts, but he made the tricky job look simple. Aaron stood nearby, offering to hold the flashlight or pass tools, feeling a little less useless with each offer. "So long day at work, huh?" Lucas asked, without looking up, as he carefully lifted the car with the jack. "Traffic was a nightmare on the highway. Took me ages to get out of the city." Aaron nodded. "Tell me about it." Felt like the day would never end. "I was just dreaming of my couch and a quiet evening." He sighed lightly, and then, thump, thump, thump. He chuckled, a genuine laugh escaping him for the first time since the flat tire happened. "What about you? Heading home, or just out for a drive?" "Home for me too," Lucas replied, his voice cheerful even as he strained a bit. "Though my home is a little farther out than yours, probably. Just moved to the area a few months ago, still getting used to the longer drive. But hey, at least the weather's nice, right? Perfect evening for a broken-down car," he added with a wink. Aaron smiled, feeling the last bits of his earlier frustration melt away. As Lucas skillfully worked on the tire, the conversation shifted from simple chat to something more lighthearted. "You know," Lucas said, wiping a smudge of grease from his cheek with the back of his hand, "this reminds me of the time my old beat-up sedan decided to quit on me right in the middle of a really important date." He paused for dramatic effect, grinning at Aaron. "Oh no, what happened?" Aaron asked, leaning a little closer, intrigued. "Well, the engine just sputtered and died, right in front of a fancy restaurant," Lucas explained, chuckling at the memory. "My date, who was dressed to the nines, had to help me push it to the side of the road. We ended up eating hot dogs from a street vendor and laughing about it all night. It was actually one of the best dates I ever had." He finished tightening a lug nut and looked up, his eyes sparkling with amusement. Aaron burst out laughing, a warm, genuine sound that echoed in the quiet evening. The image of a fancy date pushing a broken-down car was just too funny. "Hot dogs on a first date? That's quite a story," he managed to say between giggles. The tension that had been clinging to him all day completely vanished, replaced by a surprising sense of fun. Lucas's easygoing humor was infectious. As Aaron's laughter faded, he looked at Lucas, who was still smiling, his eyes twinkling. It wasn't just a polite smile. It was a broad, warm grin that seemed to crinkle the corners of his eyes in a very nice way. Aaron realized that Lucas had been smiling at him quite a lot since he'd arrived, and not just when he was telling jokes. There was a certain sparkle in Lucas's gaze whenever their eyes met. He had initially thought it was just Lucas being friendly, a kind stranger helping someone in need. But now, as Lucas handed him a wrench and their fingers brushed, a small jolt went through Aaron. Lucas didn't pull his hand away immediately. He held Aaron's gaze for a beat longer than necessary, his smile softening. It wasn't a pushy stare or anything uncomfortable, but it was definitely more than just a casual glance. It was the kind of look that made Aaron's cheeks feel a little warm, a subtle warmth spreading through him that had nothing to do with the setting sun. He swallowed, suddenly feeling a bit breathless. Could it be? Was Lucas actually flirting with him? The thought was surprising, a little thrilling, and totally unexpected on the side of a highway with a flat tire. Lucas carefully put the old, flat tire to the side, then straightened up, dusting off his hands. He looked at Aaron's car, then back at Aaron, a playful smirk dancing on his lips. Well, this old girl has certainly seen better days, hasn't she? He teased gently, nodding towards the car. But she's got character, I'll give her that. And a very dedicated owner, apparently. Aaron felt his cheeks flush bright red. It was a perfectly innocent joke about a slightly beat-up car, but the way Lucas said it, with that knowing look in his eyes and the soft smile, made it feel like more. The warmth he'd felt earlier intensified, spreading through his chest. He cleared his throat, suddenly feeling a little flustered. He definitely wasn't imagining it now. Lucas was absolutely flirting. He tried to play it cool, though his heart was doing a little happy dance in his ribs. She gets me from point A to point B, Aaron managed, trying to sound casual, most of the time, anyway. He couldn't help but grin back at Lucas, a genuine, slightly shy grin. The idea of someone flirting with him, here, now, was both thrilling and incredibly sweet. His evening, which had started as a complete disaster, was taking a very unexpected and delightful turn. With the spare tire now firmly in place, Lucas was just giving the lug nuts a final check, making sure everything was tight and safe. The last light of day was fading fast, and the street lights along the road had flickered on, casting a soft glow. The air was filled with a comfortable silence for a moment, broken only by the gentle clink of Lucas's wrench. "So, what kind of music do you listen to when you're driving?" Lucas asked, breaking the quiet. He looked up at Aaron, his eyes still holding that friendly, inviting sparkle. "Judging by the old car, I'm guessing you're not into like super loud techno or anything?" He teased again, playfully. Aaron laughed, feeling much more at ease now. "Definitely not techno," he confirmed. "I'm more of a classic rock guy, honestly. And some indie bands. Do you know the Wandering Hearts?" Lucas's face lit up. "No way. I love the Wandering Hearts. Their last album was fantastic. And classic rock, you've got good taste, Aaron. Ever been to a concert for, like, a really old band that's still touring?" They chatted easily about their favorite songs, shared memories of concerts, and even discovered they both had a soft spot for certain cheesy pop songs from the 90s. It was surprising how quickly they found common ground, the conversation flowing as naturally as if they'd known each other for ages. Aaron found himself smiling almost constantly. With a final, satisfying click, Lucas lowered the car from the jack. He packed away his tools neatly, then tucked the flat tire into Aaron's trunk. "All done," he announced, straightening up and wiping his hands on a rag he pulled from his toolbox. He offered Aaron a triumphant smile, his eyes sparkling in the dim light. "Wow, Lucas, you're a lifesaver," Aaron said, genuinely grateful. He felt a wave of relief wash over him, but mixed with it was something else, a light, fluttery feeling in his chest. It was the kind of feeling you get when something exciting is about to happen or when you meet someone truly special. "I honestly don't know what I would have done without you. Thank you, really." He looked at Lucas, his smile wide and sincere. Lucas had been so kind, so funny, and so easy to talk to. And the flirting, subtle as it was, had definitely added a thrilling sparkle to the whole situation. Aaron realized he didn't want their impromptu roadside meeting to end just yet. The idea of Lucas simply driving away and their connection fading into a memory felt surprisingly disappointing. He found himself wishing for an excuse to keep him here, even for just a little longer. As Aaron was trying to figure out how to extend their time together, Lucas, as if reading his mind, cleared his throat. He leaned casually against Aaron's car, his hands tucked into his pockets, his gaze warm and direct. "You know," Lucas began, a slight smile playing on his lips, "it's not every day you meet someone who appreciates the finer points of 90s pop on the side of a highway." Aaron chuckled, feeling his heart give another little skip. "Definitely not," he agreed, trying to keep his voice steady. Lucas pushed off the car, taking a small step closer. "So, how about we actually finish this conversation properly? Maybe over a coffee sometime this week?" "My treat," as a reward for your excellent taste in music and, well, for being stranded in such an interesting way. He winked, and the playful sparkle in his eyes was unmistakable. It wasn't just a friendly suggestion. It was an invitation, clear and hopeful. He was making it very obvious he wanted to see Aaron again. The flutter in Aaron's chest turned into a full-blown, excited dance. Aaron's heart gave a happy leap. The offer of coffee, the playful wink, it was all he'd hoped for, and more. A wide, genuine smile spread across his face, pushing away any lingering shyness. "I'd really like that, Lucas," he said, his voice a little brighter than before. "Coffee sound great. And thanks again for, rescuing me from a very long and greasy evening." Lucas grinned, clearly pleased. "My pleasure, Aaron. It's not every day I get to be a knight in shining armor." He pulled his phone out of his pocket. "What's your number? We can figure out a good time." Aaron quickly did the same, his fingers a little clumsy with excitement as he typed in his number and then Lucas's. Their phones chimed as the text went through. "There," Aaron said, feeling a thrill run through him. This was really happening. He'd started the evening tired and frustrated, facing a solo battle with a flat tire, and now he was exchanging numbers with a charming stranger who made him laugh. It was a completely unexpected and wonderful surprise. The air felt lighter, the evening brighter, and his earlier fatigue was a distant memory. "All right, Aaron, you're good to go," Lucas said, his toolbox now back in his own car. He closed his trunk with a soft thud and walked back over to Aaron, that easy smile still on his face. "Drive safe, and I'll text you about that coffee." "You too, Lucas," Aaron replied, feeling a genuine warmth spread through him. "And seriously, thanks for everything." He found himself still smiling, the corners of his eyes crinkling with happiness. Lucas gave him a friendly nod, then turned and got back in his car. He started the engine, and the headlights flashed on, cutting through the growing darkness. As he pulled away from the shoulder, he gave a quick honk and a wave. Aaron waved back, watching Lucas's car disappear around the bend in the road. Even after Lucas was gone, Aaron stood there for a moment, the chill in the air forgotten. The big, goofy smile was still plastered on his face. His car was fixed, but more importantly, he met someone interesting, someone who made him feel light and happy. The unexpected encounter had completely changed the mood of his evening, turning a frustrating problem into a hopeful new beginning. Aaron finally got back in his car, the driver's seat feeling much more comfortable than it had a little while ago. He started the engine, and the car purred to life, the new spare tire humming smoothly against the road. He pulled back onto the main road, heading towards home, but the journey felt completely different now. The heavy tiredness from his long workday had vanished, replaced by a fizzing excitement that made him feel wide awake. He thought about Lucas's easy smile, his funny stories, and the way his eyes had sparkled when they talked about music. He replayed the moment Lucas had asked for coffee, the clear invitation for a second meeting. It was thrilling to think about, a delightful surprise that had sprung from such a frustrating event. Who would have thought a flat tire could lead to meeting someone so charming? His apartment, which he'd been longing for all day, now felt like a place to plan, to anticipate. He wasn't just going home to relax. He was going home to wait for a text, to think about coffee, and to wonder what might happen next. The evening had turned from a dull, predictable end to a long day into an adventure. Aaron grinned, the thrill of the unexpected meeting making his heart feel full. He was excited for a new friend and maybe, just maybe, for something more.